Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Devolutions HQ. I'm glad you guys joined us today. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about something that might help you guys control the mobile IT chaos. Recently, we had a speaker come to Devolutions and give a talk about soft skills. One of the things he mentioned was the just some statistics about how mobile devices, cell phones especially, have affected the workplace. And that was exactly something I was kind of studying and looking into for the articles this week that I want to talk to you guys about. Interesting enough, a 2018 Nielson study said the average US adult spends 2 hours and 22 minutes a day consuming media on their devices. And that's consuming media. That's not even swiping, clicking, checking notifications. That's just actually reading, going on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so forth. Some of the interesting facts, I just have a page here full of facts on our digital internet addiction. And I was going to read some of these to you. It's interesting. It says 34% of people have checked Facebook in the last 10 minutes. Hold on. 2 in 5 adults first look at their phone within 5 minutes of waking up. Gaming addiction is to be listed as a mental health condition for the first time in 2018 by the WHO, the World Health Organization. A study found teenagers who text compulsively have a lot in common with compulsive gamblers. Man. Human average attention spans have declined significantly in the last 11 years since smartphones existed and are now lower than that of a goldfish.
Under the sea.
Not only are these statistics going on all over the internet, you can find them. Tim Cook recently spoke in a Time interview, and he said, and Apple never wanted to maximize user time. We've never been about that. That's what Tim Cook said. He even noted that in recent months, Tim Cook himself has silenced his push notifications on his iPhone so that he could be more aware and present. Not only Tim Cook said that, but even Sesame Street has they made a public service announcement, a PSA from Sesame Workshop to help kids understand the effects of distraction issues with having mobile devices all the time. I found an article on CNET by Sharon Profis, and it was screen time is rising and it's ruining us. Here are 11 ways to cut back. So I'm going to share some of the things in here and some of my ideas on there. Obviously, I didn't write this article, but I thought it was really neat, especially when it went up with everything we're talking about today. Tip number 1, make your phone go grayscale. Apparently, without all the colors, apps like Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram are much less interesting visually. So people spend less time. It's kind of like a Jedi mind trick. But
credits will do fine.
No, they won't! What, you think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that?
Disable wake to raise. On some devices, every time you pick it up, the screen lights up. And that produces some sort of a response in our brain, apparently, that when we see the device light up, we want to automatically do something on the screen. You want to touch it, swipe, click, and so forth. Number 3, turn off almost all the notifications. So turn off all the least important notifications. Let's be honest. There's a lot of things you do not need to be notified about. And these can be distracting. So you can be working, and all of a sudden it cuts your focus on what you're doing. So here's another one, delete social media apps. Now I understand some of you are in a workplace where you can't because you're working on that stuff. A lot of times I think we just depend on them too much and we just check just for the sake of checking because it's something psychologically. It's like Pavlov's dogs. Have you heard the story of Pavlov? When the little bell rings, automatically they would come. So the idea is it's kind of like that. We are trained mentally now to respond to notifications instantly. Here's another one. This is interesting. Stop pooping with your phone. Well, anyway, they said if you're going to do your business, go do your business without your phone. You don't need to check it while you're doing that. Okay, I don't know why we're talking about this on Devolutions HQ, but anyway, whatever you want to do, that's up to you. Discipline you and your friends' Googling habits. What do you mean by that? I don't know, sometimes you find an interesting fact, you're looking up something and all of a sudden you're like, oh, Google that. And I get it. I've been guilty of the same thing, but like, what happened back in the day when you just asked a question to a friend and just you didn't know the answer, and that's fine. Another one, stop taking so many photos. Have you been guilty of this? You go to a restaurant and you see something nice, you take a photo of it. In fact, I've read on the other side of the story that some restaurateurs are frustrated because while they're serving their meal or trying to clear your plate or whatever, there's a constant bombardment of people that got to Instagram it and photo it, take a photo op of every single dish that comes out, and they can't do their job properly.
Yeah, there you go. I've had enough. I've had enough!
What happened to just sitting down, eating a meal, and enjoying it in a restaurant with that significant other or with a group of buddies? Another one, leave your phone behind. This is something I've started to do, when you go to the restaurant or something, and that way we're not distracted to check things while one of us is going to the restroom or whatever. The other one, I would say, I've done this at my house. It's not part of one of their tips, but is to actually, at the dinner table, if you have kids or you have a family, even if you're with your friends, we've just made a rule that you don't need to have your phone out while you're eating dinner. You need to have conversations with your family members, with your friends, with your loved ones. Relationships are key, these soft skills, right? Another one, they said this, don't use your phone as your alarm clock. I've heard a lot of people, some business professionals say this, that just use a regular alarm clock because when you have your phone by your bed, a lot of times it leads to, watching videos late at night, and that, the blue light and all that kind of stuff affects your sleeping patterns. And the next one, 2 more, make use of a smartwatch or tracker. So they're not saying that devices are bad, but instead of having something that's your phone that's always tracking everything, use a smartphone or smartwatch or trackers, something that maybe can keep track of the things that you want, the steps or the health benefits or whatever you're trying to do, heart rate, but is much less distracting, so you're not pulling your phone out to swipe. And the last one they say is let your friends and family know. So if you decided to make a decision saying, listen, we're going to try to limit as a family or as in your office maybe, but you make a decision, you tell people about it just to be honest with them so they can respect your decision. So anyway, here's 11 different ways that you can help reduce the mobile addiction or abuse that goes on. And if you have any interesting other ideas that I maybe didn't mention, things that you've done and it successfully has worked in your family or in your workplace, put the comments below. I'd like to see some of your ideas about how you guys reduce and control the mobile IT chaos. But anyway, hope you guys have a great week, and just be aware and present in your conversations. And I think you guys will maybe have a happier or more productive week without all the distractions. So control the IT chaos. And have a great week. Thanks for watching Devolutions HQ.